The Storm Dwarf expansion 11.0 reveals leaks and data mining show the shape of the next expansion. Okay, yeah, let's see more dwarfiness, more elemental stuff. Makes sense with Thrall on the front cover of the BlizzCon stuff. Let's see what they have to say about this.
Hello, Internet. Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset. Taliesin and Evertel's Wondrous Wisdom Show. And this is an 11.0 next expansion leak/reveal/data mine special. Because BlizzCon is now just a month away, which means we are officially into the time span when legitimate leaks for new X-Packs do and certainly will happen. Like when the 9FX_Drake Mount Emerald buff was data mined, and everyone was like, that sure sounds like it might be a Dragon Isles thing. Or that time when Blizz sent all of the Bastion stuff from Shadowlands to the printers to make big banners for BlizzCon, and someone at said printers was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to put all that shit online for everyone to see, you know? So here's the thing. This is a straight up warning.
Man, I remember seeing this and I was so damn this makes me sad. You know, when I saw this, I immediately thought of Lord of the Rings. Like, that's what it reminded me of. Like, this castle looked so cool. It looked like a ghost castle or something. And I was like, holy shit, what's going on? This looks so medieval. This looks so badass. We're going to go back to warring and all this shit. Yeah. It was Shadowlands. And Shadowlands was what it was.
So here's the thing. This is a straight up warning for this episode right here, okay? This is what we've got. We have an image from Blizzard themselves used in their BlizzCon promotional material.
The mount,
we have data mined achievements which seem connected to the pre-order bonuses for 11.0 and which match up with that image. We have data mined cosmetics which also seem to go along with
the
those
helmets,
other things to create a pretty concrete base of knowledge from which we can draw some fairly educated conclusions. We're also going to take a look at a leak that has swept the internet in the wake of these discoveries. And yes, it's fake, but it absolutely shows what kind of phase of expansion speculation we are in. I know people feel different ways about this sort of stuff. I am generally not a huge fan of when storylines and cinematics or whatever are leaked. And I'm definitely not a fan of the whole person who works at the printers just sharing the whole key art to the whole new expansion.
I like to experience shit in game. Like, I want to see things for the first time in game. That's why I don't like pre-watch cinematics or anything like that. I want to play the game and experience the game through the game, not through a fucking data mined piece of code on Wowhead. There's nothing exciting about that. So, like, this stuff, I'm watching it right now because it's not really like in-game leaks or anything like that. There's no really story leaks. It's just kind of like, oh, fun to speculate what the next expansion is going to be. But in terms of like general leakage or leakage from the bumhole, I don't appreciate either one. I don't want either one in my life, and I want leak-free leakiness until it's time to actually see it.
Either. That just feels like an undermining of people's work for cheap
Especially
clicks.
The last one.
But I do love it when we get clues like the ones we are going to show you today that we can piece together and mold speculation from. And so in my opinion, this is the very best sort of 11.0 leak/reveal/data mining it is possible to have. And this is all we are going to be doing this episode too. Oh, okay, fine. Let's do trading post. There are chainmail tabards in this month's trading post. It's the best trading post ever. Right, 11.0.
It is a very good trading post.
I know.
Most
it seems so early to be talking about next expansion already, doesn't it? But it is what it is. BlizzCon is here. Chris Metzner's out the back doing his stretches and vocal warm-ups and washing the palms of his hands in preparation to have 40,000 people eating from them when he gets up on stage and reveals this thing. We put out an official complete
This would literally, I mean, we are so starving as Blizzard fans or like World of Warcraft fans. I think Chris Metzen could have he could go up there, pull down his pants, squat, and take a shit on the stage, and this would be the crowd's reaction. Everyone would just go fucking nuts. And we're like, yeah, he's bringing it back. That's it. We're back. It would be fucking... I'm excited, as we should be. I mean, he could bring back the war in Warcraft. That's what I'm hoping. Blood and Thunder. Loktar Ogar. Victory or death. That's what I want to come back to WoW, and I'm hoping he brings that shit back.
thing. We
Instead
put
of
out an
World of
official complete
Hugcraft.
guess prediction months ago, beyond the Western Storm's exploring times.
Pirates.
And now we have
Not
our
happening.
first round of real meat to be working off of. So, first, the official BlizzCon 2023 medley of BlizzCon events handout that accompanied the final round of tickets going on sale on September the 29th, with all the usual good stuff. Community night, a new Overwatch hero
Yay.
that you'll have to buy, a free BlizzCon
We want
backpack. I
Zugzug,
love
exactly.
backpacks. The promise that you can play upcoming WoW content for Classic and 10.2? Look, I'm not saying that the 10.2 thing isn't real, okay? I'm not saying that it's a basic lie or a misdirect to hide what actually will be available to play. And I'm not saying that because actually the WoW gaming area is pretty small this year. I'm just saying that
I wonder if they're going to have a demo.
kind of sucks. And that if it were a lie, like a misdirect, and actually there was something else available, which I'm not saying there will be, because I don't think there will be, but that would just be a bit more exciting, wouldn't it? That's all I'm saying. The Dark Moon Fair, and
This
more.
mount.
And next to
Yeah.
that picture of more is this, what looks like a storm elemental mount.
It's an elemental mount
World
for
of
sure. You
Warcraft.
got snowballs down here. This thing's clearly made of ice. You got the person standing up there. Definitely mounted.
You know,
Definitely elemental.
that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Because that is not in the game right now, and so it definitely seems like it might be a hint at WoW's future in some way. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Tally, yeah, but let's be real, it could be digital goodies included in the digital BlizzCon ticket, which you don't even need to watch the BlizzCon feed this
free
year.
now,
So
right?
those goodies are going to have to be good, and that mount is good. That fits. And you're right, that is definitely true. There is usually a WoW mount included in the digital BlizzCon ticket. That absolutely tracks. Or you might be thinking, well, yeah, Tally, it could be a cross-promotion with Warcraft Rumble, the new mobile game, which will definitely become playable during BlizzCon. The game whose logo is literally a bolt of lightning, which would seem to match up with a Storm Elemental mount. And it's also a fairly regular occurrence to make WoW mounts
I
a
don't think that's what
reward
it
for
is.
playing their new game. They did it with Hearthstone and Heroes and Diablo in the past. And
We
you're
know
right.
what they're doing for. We already know what they're doing for Warcraft Rumble. Maybe he made this video before that, but they're putting a literal pinball machine in World of Warcraft because that's very Warcraftian. And you're gonna find coins, put them in, and you're gonna get little statues, little statue toys that you'll be able to use in the game. That's the cross promotional event. So I don't think this is related to that. I think this is a a mount that you're gonna get, pre-expansion thing.
Right, you are
for
right.
doing
That
the
would
BlizzCon
also
stuff.
totally make sense. It could definitely be either one of those options, but...
Then a Reddit post appeared detailing some new achievements that had just been data mined, many of which are absolutely to do with Warcraft Rumble. A toy box of collectible in-game
Yay.
minis. There's definitely going to be
You
a
guys have
cross-promotion
phones, don't
with
you?
that game involving fun stuff to collect in WoW, but there are other achievements which are not so obviously connected to Rumble, if at all, like Ysurgle the Dreamerk, probably a Murloc Ysera
Murloc
pet,
thing, yeah.
right? Lil Mags, which I guess is a mini Magtheridon pet. Fern
Yeah,
could be
it's
a...
been revealed already. Lil Mags is indeed a mini Magtheridon pet. It is going to be available in the store until October 31st and will eventually show up on the trading posts. So if you don't want to spend your money.
Theridon pet? Fern could be a Fruck pet, I suppose, but I admit I'm clutching at straws on that one. And then there's Squally, a survey bot. What looks to be like 3 new dragon riding achievements: Storm Rider in
Yeah,
bronze,
that's
silver,
probably
and
has to do with
gold,
Eastern
and the big
Kingdoms
one, Heroic
dragon
Edition Algarian Storm Rider.
There it is.
Which I don't think that's talking about the Heroic Edition of Warcraft Rumble, you know? That's referring to the Heroic Edition of 11.0, the next expansion, all ready to go on sale after the announcement of said new expansion at BlizzCon.
That's
and
right.
speaking of BlizzCon, that Storm Elemental mount they teased definitely looks like it could be called an Algarian Storm Rider, right? So here it is, a mount from the Heroic Edition of the new expansion, which it would be reasonable to expect might fit the theme of the next expansion. So to summarize the stuff I think is important, we have this mount, we have storm riding dragon racing achievements, we have a survey bot, and a pet
Yeah.
called Squally. What does it mean?
What does it mean? Well, first, obviously, there is a lot of storm stuff going on here, which, if it is to do with next expansion, is kind of wild when you consider that's how Dragonflight started too. With Razageth being the main antagonist of the leveling campaign, storm imagery was everywhere in 10.0, especially in Unaran Plains, where pretty much every NPC you meet would talk about
shooting
the
lightning
coming
everywhere.
storm,
Yeah,
and
that's how it
then there
started.
being a climactic fight to stop Koroleth, the storm shaman, and her primalists from invading the Emerald
We killed her
Dream.
pretty
There's been
quick.
a lot of
She was
primal storm
anticlimactic.
stuff in Dragonflight, is what I'm saying. But there's lots more that we can draw from this data mining, mostly the word Algarian, because that's not a new word. It seems to refer to Kaz Algar, an as yet undiscovered area which we first learned about in one of the books to be found in Dragonflight's updated Uldaman dungeon.
There is also an elemental, I believe, in the game that currently uses the name Algarian. I remember seeing this on Wowhead somewhere, that there was indeed an elemental with the Algarian name attached to it. I can find that article again. And it was in Northrend. And this was the only elemental that used the name Algarian. I'd have to fucking dig through these articles and find it again. But it was definitely elemental in nature. And Storm Rider sounds like a dwarven, riding, storm riding shit.
Observational report. Earthen. We are told about a group of Earthen separate from the Earthen who became dwarves with the Curse of the Flesh, who have shown much more resistance to the Curse of Flesh, but are weirdly still dwarf-like. The writer of this report shows surprise that even though these two groups are not connected, this second group has independently grown to manifest behaviors analogous to those which would one day be apparent in the self-styled dwarves, despite the two groups being separated by vast swathes of time and distance. They are described as having similar behavior, language, and demeanor, and have themselves named the sector that they were sent to study Kaz Algar.
That's right. Storm Rider. Sorry, I was wrong. It's not Algarian, it's Storm Rider. Storm Rider is the thing that shows up, and it's the only thing that shows up is an NPC Storm Rider. It uses the name Storm Rider. It's an elemental found in the Storm Peaks of Northrend, closely to the Titan complex Ulduar, in the prison of old god Yogg-Saron, which makes sense because there's a story right now going around about dwarves that were essentially sent back to Ulduar, and they got the Curse of Flesh. These were stone dwarves that became fleshy dwarves again. This just happened. The Titans just experienced this, and of course, the Curse of Flesh comes from Yogg-Saron. So it all makes sense. All these things line up. And then Storm Rider, of course, is their Storm Rider Telman. So, Algarian Storm Rider, yeah, makes sense. It all boxes.
Probably make anyone hailing from that part of Azeroth an Algarian. I've realized I'm going to switch between Algarian and Algarian quite a lot in this video because f*** you, that's why. There's probably not much meaning to be derived from that name itself. Algar is an old Anglo-Saxon name. Godvida and Lothric had a son called Algar, who hilariously, in the only history I've read on the subject, is described as having a short and stormy life, which is obviously a coincidence, but an ironic and funny coincidence. It's actually a village still named after him in England too, Algarkirk in Lincolnshire. None of this has any relevance.
I love this kind of architecture. I don't know what it is about me. Medieval architecture just tickles my fancy. I love
Saxon history, sorry. The kind of corrupted by the Curse of Flesh Earthen are at Kaz Algar because they are studying what is described as a fissure, i.e. a big crack in the ground. And watching Millennia, the writer ponders if the distinctiveness of the Kaz Algar Earthen is due to exposure to that anomaly. All in all, it definitely looks like Kaz Algar is going to be somewhere that we find ourselves next expansion. With these Earthen, who are like dwarfs, but a bit different, which has a big fissure in it, which warrants studying, and a lot of storm imagery to boot. Now, of course, we have already got lots that we can speculate on here, but before we do, we should probably take a look at some of the data mining that came out this week as well.
Arsenal, Storm Riders, Stormhammers, Wildhammer Scouts headgear, and Regal Griffin Riders headgear
we saw this headgear.
All account-bound cosmetic appearances, which we currently have no models or source for. They could well be trading post items, of course, but I think at this stage it is reasonable to be suspicious of anything dwarf or storm related.
Yeah.
And so Wildhammer and Griffin Rider stuff? Sus. Storm Rider stuff? Very sus. Almost certainly related to the Algarian Storm Rider mount, which suggests that the Earthen at Khazalgar are themselves Storm Riders, which is
there it is.
Interesting. Hey, do you think these items could end up being rewards for those storm riding dragon racing achievements?
Yes, I think they could. If I had to take a guess,
indeed.
I would suggest...
Don't forget that griffins were recently given the dragon riding animations. So there you go. Dragon riding on a griffin. Yeah, getting these achievements.
There will be an event to go along with the pre-order, which will be like the Kalimdor or Eastern Kingdoms Cup, but will have us dragon riding around the Storm Peaks, aided by the Wildhammer clan to get these rewards. And then, when the Storm Rider
going back to
Northrend,
I kind of said we were going to do that. That's probably the one thing I've been right about this whole time.
The Gold Award, there's a little lore moment.
Thought we were going to see the scourge there. I don't know.
Weird. Well, I'm not going to do the accent. Weird. What are these? Let's go study them. And then a few months down the line, they'll be like, hero, you'll never guess what. We deciphered these Storm Rider things you gave us, and we think there might be a bunch of Earthen in this place called Khazalgar. No! Which we now know how to get to. Something like that.
Yeah.
If that sounds stupid to you, well, don't forget, BFA also had an event connected to the Shadowlands pre-purchase, the Eternal Traveler Transmog, which unlocked an event where you collected anima for the Worm mount.
The Sperm mount. This was the Sperm mount, that's right.
Before that expansion launched. So a storm riding event connected to 11.0 would not be a first. And what about this Frisher? What is it? I mean, presumably, it's quite stormy and elemental, I suppose. But it could be an old god thing as well. Aridicron and the old gods look like they are going to be a thing next expansion. So who even knows at this point? And that's what I mean when I say this is like...
One thing I will say is I didn't think we were going to fight the Void yet. I know Aridicron's going in and, you know, he's doing his voidy shit in the background, but I didn't think we were going to get like World of Warcraft Enter the Void as an expansion or something. I thought it's too soon for that, and they're going to continue on exploring the Void before we actually confront it at all. So this totally makes sense to me.
Perfect leak. Just enough to get some serious and exciting speculation going, but essentially we basically still know nothing until some intern at the printer goes rogue and just shows us all of the promotional key art and cinematic stills a week before.
I hope that doesn't happen.
And the fruits of these discoveries are already starting to ripen.
This was fake.
This Stormbreak leak went viral last night, and it does indeed look pretty realistic. Skillfully ticking every box in the WoW leak bingo. Fuzzy pixelated 1998 candid Nokia phone pic.
It's always like, who the fuck has this bad of phones anymore? There's no way you have a phone with this bad of a camera that still functions today. It's always like this for the leaks. So this is probably fake, but it's a cool logo.
Check. Playing into all of the features and things that people think is true about the next expansion? Check. Believably Blizz-like final product? Check. There was even this super high-res version of the same image, which added extra intrigue and credence to the idea, except that if you didn't think this was fake already, then you definitely would now, because Midjourney is about as good at dwarf faces as it is fingers and toes.
That is a scuffed-ass dwarf face.
People were all over these images.
But this is cool. This is really cool. World of Warcraft Stormbreaker. All right, yeah, this looks like a cool image. Stormbreak, yeah. The background looks very nice. Again, yeah, the dwarf head is extremely scuffed. And this griffin somewhat doesn't look like something from World of Warcraft. I don't know what it is. The eye, maybe? That kind of looks like hidden camera for leaks. Yeah, there's even a camera the size of like your pinky now takes better pictures.
Toes, it would seem. But people were all over these images, convinced they were real. I guess it kind of shows how AI is going to change the game with all of this stuff.
That's what it is. That's what it is. This background looks AI generated. That's why the eyes are weird on AI generated art, and the face, yeah, totally scuffed. This is definitely AI generated.
Is going to change the game with all of this stuff. But people are already calling this the Dwarf expansion online, which I like the sound of, frankly. I like dwarves. And obviously there is more stuff coming all the time. As always, we've linked loads of Wowhead articles in the description
below. I'm kind of sick of night elves and undead and all that shit. They had their time.
Will keep you up to date and allow you to peruse all this stuff in your own time. But to go back to that Eternal Traveler Shadowlands pre-purchase event, all of the stuff that we saw from that was related specifically to Oribos, the hub city of the expansion. And the watchers and citizens of Oribos that the transmog resembled the most were certainly a constant presence in that expansion, but only in the sense that they were based in the staging post from which we explored the Shadowlands.
Right.
So what if it's the same with Khazalgar? What if that's our hub rather than an entire new continent? What if it happens to be to the west of Kalimdor, right next to the magical storms that stop anyone going any further? What if the Algarians' storm riding capabilities are how we cross those storms to the new lands?
You got to train in storm riding to get through the storm. Okay, that you could do that.
Which are the
like
actual
cold weather flying kind of
for
in
the
North
expansion. The lands that we know about from the 10.1 book, Tales of the Night School, which tells us about the Night Elf privateer, Night School, and how he has already found a way through. What if that pet achievement we data mined, Squally, has something to do with him? Like maybe a parrot that sits on his shoulder, for example.
No pirates.
Like I say, pure speculation. Just like our original Western Storms prediction was pure speculation. But I mean, in my opinion, all of this stuff certainly doesn't disprove our 11.0 prediction, does it? In fact, I am reminded of Evertel's response to my prediction in our original video.
I think the title is going to have the West in it somewhere.
Okay.
It's going to be like World of Warcraft Westlands, or you know, Battle for the West.
Wicked West.
Or
Wetland.
Wild West.
Warlords of the West. Like, it's going to be none of those. I think it's just going to have the word West in it.
World of Warcraft.
Forbidden West.
Maybe Forbidden West.
World of Warcraft.
Or
Forbidden
like,
West.
you know, like beyond the storm,
the
or something
beyond,
like that.
Yeah.
Beyond the
stormy.
storm.
He almost got it there. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Thanks for joining us today. If you liked this video, don't thank us, thank our patrons who give their actual real-life money to make all our work happen. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it, and remember, my name is Taliesin. Oh god, please don't let him be right. I mean, I like his ideas and everything, and I'm really excited about the storms and everything, but if he nails this one, we'll never hear the end of it. From me, Avatel, until next time, cheerio.
Yeah, no, great video idea. Is this what's going to happen? It's looking very likely that we're getting some kind of stormy dwarf elemental expansion. It totally lines up with Thrall being on the front of the cover art for BlizzCon. So there you go. Are you excited about it? Dwarves? Hard dwarves? Let's do it. I'm down for it. All right, look at this, guys. I wanted to show you guys this before we went on. Look at that. Yeah, we did it, boys. We did it. 1,000 subs on the YouTube channel. We are going to be official YouTube partners and do the application. But thank you so much. Again, legitimately and literally not possible without you guys, because, yeah, you guys subbed. You guys did it. You subbed with and you gave me the dub. What else can I say? If you haven't subbed already, don't feel like you missed the party. You can still sub even since I crossed 1,000 subs. All you gotta do is click that link and click subscribe. The YouTube channel is a cool channel. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Post tons of stuff there. It's a good time. You know what else is a good time? Playing some WoW.